morning. It's Mike over at Cross Country Mortgage, and it's time for your Monday morning mortgage update for the week of November the 27th. Hope you all had a wonderful, blessed, grateful Thanksgiving Day weekend. We had a wonderful weekend. It all started last week with our 6th annual Thanksgiving Day pie giveaway. We gave away well over 100 pies, apple and pumpkin pies, to our past clients, our current clients, our referral partners, our business partners, people we just care about. Saw so many people come by the office and pick up their pies. So great to see everybody. So this is your update. And I always try to give you insight on what's happening in the market so that you can have those impactful conversations with your buyers and sellers, talk about what happened last week, what's going to happen this week, and what's going to move rates, what's going to move the market. So last week, nothing. It was really flat, 2.5 days of trading because of Thanksgiving. Nothing happened, started the same way it ended, so really not much to talk about. So what's going to happen this week? What are the three things or the information, the data that's coming out that could move the market? Number one is inflation. That's always at the top of our list. We know inflation is the death of mortgage rates. When inflation goes up, mortgage rates go up. When inflation comes down, mortgage rates come down. And inflation, as we all know, is up. So we'll talk about that. Number two, the Fed. Fed comes out with reports. They talk about stuff every single week. And what they say and what they do impacts the market. And then a lot of data coming out. That's the third thing. So let's talk about inflation. A report's coming out this week called PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure. And it's the report that really reports the prices that you and I pay for goods and services. Now, there's two other reports that we talk about too, CPI and PPI, and those came out a couple weeks ago. And those talk about how the market moves. It really doesn't look at what people pay for things. And so those reports 2 weeks ago showed that inflation is actually starting to abate, starting to slow down, starting to come down. And we saw, you can see my cursor here, this is a graph that shows the trading of mortgage-backed securities, that we saw a great rally. And this rally that we've seen over the last couple of weeks is all centered around inflation getting under control. Some data coming out, the economy's probably not doing as well as people want it to be. And a weaker economy means money flows into the safer bond market and mortgage rates get better. Inflation getting under control means that money flows into the bond market and mortgage rates get better. And that's what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And we saw a little bit of an adjustment last week, but really nothing that was impactful. So what's happening this week? The PCE report's coming out this week. And again, it's the Fed's key measure of inflation. We expect it to go up a little bit month over month, but really come down year over year. Again, the signs and the indication is inflation is starting to get under control. We may be at the peak of high inflation, and we might be on the other side of it. Time will tell, but this could be very positive for rates this week. Second thing is Fed. So the Federal Reserve has their last FOMC meeting in a couple weeks. And this week, the Fed Beige book comes out. And this is a report that comes out that shows the data that all the districts are reporting on their economy. And if we look at the districts, every part of the country is broken into different economic districts, Federal Reserve districts. And these districts report how they're doing to the Federal Reserve. And that Beige book is coming out this week. And if we see the economy doing, if it's weaker than expected, that's positive for mortgage rates. And this book is coming out this week ahead of the FOMC meeting in 2 weeks. Next week, the Federal Reserve and all its members can't talk, can't say anything. So it could be an impactful report that comes out that shows that, hey, maybe the economy is showing signs of weakness. Again, that could be positive for rates. Obviously, if it's the obvious, then everybody will expect the Fed maybe to raise rates, but nobody expects them to do that. They really expect the Fed to not raise rates in December and actually start cutting sometime in 2024. So an important report coming out. And then the last thing is data. We get manufacturing news. Are businesses, are companies making stuff? We've been in a manufacturing recession for quite some time. So if this shows more decline, that's positive for mortgage rates. Consumer confidence is coming out. If the consumer feels confident about the future of the economy, that's strength in the economy, that's bad for rates. If they feel weak, consumer sentiment, consumer confidence is weak, which we've been seeing over the last few months, that could be positive for rates. And then GDP, gross domestic product. We had a really bangbuster big number that came out for the third quarter, but there's always adjustments. They always have adjustments, 3 of those, and this is the first adjustment to the initial numbers. So if it starts to show lower numbers where they get more data that says, okay, maybe GDP isn't as strong, which means the economy isn't as strong, this could be positive for mortgage rates. So we're starting the week floating. There's really some signs that we could see rates improve this week. And if we see a change, we'll move to a locking position. If you know anybody who could benefit from this video, please forward it to them. If you need any insight about the market or help with your clients, be more than happy to help. Have a great week. Talk to you next week.